Yeah. What's happening, man? How y'all doing out there? Yes. Yes. It's another Tuesday. So it's time to go live and talk about music. A lot of music is out. Hopefully, I've been putting you on to some good music or some dope music that you just want to hear and get in tune with. So this week will be no different. This is this week I was actually anticipating this because of the history of not only the artists, but also the history of rappers going to jail for long stints of time and how they perform when they get out. Now, a lot has changed since the 90s. A lot has changed. But before we get into all of that, of course, you already know the vibes. Look, made in the 1980s. Look. And it's in the corner. Look at that. Yeah, okay. I can't point right when I'm facing the camera. I'm sorry. But made in the 1980s, the podcast. Y'all make sure y'all check it out. Fridays, the audio goes live. Saturday, the video goes live exclusively on YouTube. My guy, Wang Dang, please say the damn doodle. He won't be on this week's episode, but next week's episode, he will be on that one. So, you make sure you check it out. This week, I saw this album and thought, you know what? Got to talk about this one. I haven't done a rap album in a couple weeks. I've been trying to get away from rap music. I just haven't been that impressed. To be honest, nothing really is, grabbing me as far as just like spirit wise or just content wise. But every once in a while, I think it's appropriate to pay homage and just get an update, get a check-in on certain artists that have been in the game or are back in the game. So this week, BG, Cash Money alumni, rap legend. I don't want to just say South rap legend, but a rap legend in general. BG, he dropped his first solo project since being released from prison in 2023, September 2023, Freedom of Speech. And it's definitely worth talking about. So, first and foremost, we can't start this without saying, man, welcome home, right? It's still a welcome home. It's still, he did 12 years, I think 12 or 13 years of a 14-year sentence. And the world has changed so many times. You think about 12 years ago, it's 2025. So 2013, look how much the world has changed since 2013. Instagram was only 2 years old when BG went to prison. That's a long time, especially when you're talking about being on the inside being prison and having to get out and transition. But I'll say, man, this is I don't want to say this is an anomaly, but this is definitely a testament to the evolution of the rapper rapping after prison. Because in the 90s, there were two categories you could have fallen in. 90s into the early 2000s. There was that old dirty bastard shine kind of category where, old dirty bastard was like, I wasn't writing raps in prison. I was trying to survive. Rap is not on my mind. I'm not on music. This is not in the place for me to create. And then you have guys like Shine, who was the first guy to really try to put an album out while in prison, The Godfather Buried Alive. I think in hindsight, especially when you look at the doc, as we fast forward, we gas that. Especially when you look at these other gentlemen who actually went to prison. No matter the stint of time, they went to prison, they came out, and they were rapping at a higher clip. Like, again, Tupac Shakur, out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. You know what I'm saying? Even though I do not like the song California Love, the fact that he was rapping like that, the fact that he goes to um, jail, he goes to prison, and he comes out and we get All Eyes on Me. Like, that's incredible. That's incredible. Um, Keith Murray, I think we totally underrate Keith Murray going to jail, coming out, and the first song he was on was Fatty Girl. I'm not saying it's the lyrical masterpiece of ever in life or that capsule, but that is a hell of a welcome back type of verse. Recently, G Dep finally out of prison, and I don't know if you've been checking him out on YouTube, but he got some heat. He still got it, and he's really getting back in the swing of things. So that's been awesome. And of course, one of the more notable gentlemen who was actually rapping from prison came back, kept the same consistency, and that's Hell Rel. Hell Rel, first time I heard Hell Rel, actually, I will say it was 2005. No, I'm sorry. The Dipset Diplomatic Community Phone Calls was the first one, because that was before the Champs Battle thing that they were doing, the Foot Locker NYC battle joint, because he was in that. And there was I think a clip of him as just one of the battlers. So with Hell Rel, you know what I'm saying? Spit hip hop, heroin, liquid crack, part the 6 next to your 5 until you get with that, you know what I'm saying, on the phone, and the Dipset interludes. So, there was always 2 categories that you could always fall into. And I'll start this off specifically speaking about BG by saying, man, I'm glad that he is on the more positive end of rhyming, rapping, song creation, post incarceration. This is a really good album. This is really good. And I'm not even the biggest BG fan, so I'm not gonna sit here and stand and cape and do all that wild madness. I was not a real Cash Money fan in real time. They got some joints. Never gonna hate on the joints. 400 Degrees is a classic. That is one of the defining moments in Southern rap music as well as hip hop in the 90s. 400 Degrees. But I also remember, Chopper City in the Ghetto. I get it. First Hot Boys album was that Guerrilla Warfare, I believe that was. So I'm not naive. I just wasn't a fan. And what I will say, what's very important here as we kick this off, is a very underrated stat that exists in rap music is when you have a timeless flow that pairs well with the production of today. You don't really realize it in real time, but to rewind the clock back to 97, 98, 99, and how BG is rapping back then, it's different, and it cuts through. Like all of the Hot Boys, everybody on Cash Money, nobody really rapped like anybody, and they didn't even rap like each other, which was also really dope. But you fast forward and you put that 97 to 99 BG flow on today's production, and it sounds like he hasn't missed a step at all. See, this is why people from my era and just people older than me, like, this is why the 90s rappers get so much praise, because there wasn't one singular flow that carried 60% of the industry. There wasn't one sound that carried 90% of the industry. Like, you, not only did you have to rap well, but your style was something that was heralded because, hey, you don't sound like this person or that one. Like Method Man is able to come out here and kill anything. And people are like, yo, he's still rapping like it's 95. But he came out so original. Flows are so original. BG is in that category. Maybe not as far as lyricism, but in style, because he sounds just like he did the first time I heard him when he was like, what, 17, 18, with the exact same flow, exact same pocket. Cadence is exactly the same, but it's vintage BG, but it sounds so current. He's not outdated by any stretch. And this is the real reason why, again, 90s rappers, like everybody who, let me not say everybody, the majority of the artists that were alive and thriving and performing at a high level, this is the reason why. Because you can put their flow on today's beats and they don't miss a beat. They still are unique. They still are capable of relating to you content wise, as well as giving you something you've never heard before. And what BG may lack in lyricism, like your technical lyricism, he overdoes with his own personal style and his own cadence. And that is something that we really need to appreciate more. There's so many artists that exist today because rap is a hustle, and I get it. But there are not many people that are coming with new flows. There are not a lot of new styles that exist. There are a lot of people doing a lot of the things that already exist because they know it pays. So when I hear BG freedom of speech, I'm like, wow, he's really picking up where he left off, and this doesn't feel forced. This doesn't feel like it's something that you need to get readjusted to, and he doesn't need to necessarily get readjusted into society because of this album. And he just deserves appreciation, not just for, being home outside of incarceration, but just because of his art, his art and the way he chooses to convey his life and experience. Which brings us to the album itself, Freedom of Speech. So Freedom of Speech, what's the tail of the tape, right? Off the rip, 15 tracks, 49 minutes, 43 seconds. That's, boom, what it is. Off the rip, 15 tracks, 49 minutes, 43 seconds. What I do love about the intro, which is the title track, Freedom of Speech, is that he details what is happening in the process of creating this album, which is he's now expected to turn in the lyrics to all these songs, all 15 of these joints, so they can be approved for the album. Now, this is something brand new, even though the hot topic that has been in hip hop for, well over a decade now, is the aspect of using rappers' lyrics in court as a means to maybe potentially indict them or incriminate them or other just people around them. Like, this is, basically hot niggas why Bobby Shmurda and Rowdy went to prison. Like, that's why, because they took that song, they dissected it and linked it to other crimes, and they both went down. So now BG, 11 to 12 year time served, comes out of prison, wants to create music, and the excuse me, the judge, the parole officer, the authorities, if you will, are like, you got to turn that in. We need to hear what you're about to start talking about, because they're trying to, again, just paint him as a menace, paint him as a person that is unfit for society, and he is just he's making music. Now, I know the culture of hip hop music, because hip hop comes from the streets and rap music, and a lot of the cachet that is earned and achieved through rap music is the fact that, oh, he really did it. She really does that. They really live they raps. And I get that. But, he because of that, because rap music is positioned as the genre that is the real stuff, you know, blues, rock, pop, jazz, anything else that can be fabricated. That doesn't have to be reality. But when the black men and women rap, well, that's for real. So because of that, this is the burden of proof. This is the burden of reality rap, right? And he plays the audio clip, and then it goes into a very solid track in which he's detailing what he had to go through to get this album done, and basically kind of like alluding to the fact that, yeah, it's some more I want to say on here, but they're watching me. I'm still being monitored and scrutinized and things of that nature. Like, I can't really talk how I want to talk on these records because my freedom's on the line. And the overlying or underlying theme or the main idea of the album is, and this is affecting my freedom of speech. Great concept for the album overall. And I think that no matter what he wanted to say, I think this is still a very good album. As a person, look, and BG's a year older than me. So for me, I like the route of this, and I like a lot of the things that he's saying, a lot of the messages that he's sending in this. And maybe, just maybe, we need to champion an album like this more so the lyrical content that is, can diversify some more. Maybe he just really shouldn't talk about the streets anymore to a certain degree, except for, some of the songs I'm going to highlight here, like Save My Life. Favorite song on the project. Save My Life is a really dope song because he's talking about what music did for him and how music actually got him out of the streets, because he was on the wrong path. And even with him being on this wrong path and him doing music, he's actually speaking to us like, yo, if I didn't have this outlet as music, if I didn't have this outlet that is music, then maybe I wouldn't be here today. And even in that, he's bringing back this freedom of speech angle, and he's saying, hey, you know what, if y'all are going to police how I'm doing this, then Al Pacino shouldn't make certain movies anymore, like, and that is a very valid argument for all rappers. However, the one thing that will always separate movies like, Scorsese and Pacino, De Niro, and all these guys, what will always separate them from rap music, again, is the fact that they're telling us that they are playing a character, and rappers are telling people that, no, this is really me, and this is really who I am, and this is what I really do. So, it's a slippery slope. I don't like it, but unfortunately, a few rappers, and this is over the history of time, we're not just going to blame the 2010 rappers and the drill rappers, because all the way back to the 80s and 90s, rappers have killed people, they have robbed banks, they have shot at police, they, like, rappers have done things. And Al Pacino hasn't. I don't remember the time where Al Pacino was caught with drug trafficking. I don't recall that. I don't know the time that Robert De Niro was hit with a RICO charge. I don't know that. But, and again, I'm never saying that it's right. I think music should be music. I think music should be art. But I think us, as not only hip hop artists, but hip hop supporters and rap music fans, I think we should also keep the foot off the neck of that realness. That doesn't have to be 100% real for you to be entertained by it. Does this have to be the life that they are living present day? And why do they have to prove to you how tough, how hard, how street they are? Do we really need that present day or ever? Do we need it to enjoy the music? It's, you gotta, I guess you gotta choose your battles, right? Um, know your worth. Know your worth with Reese Youngin. So I like this track. I like Reese on the hook. um, I like the delivery of this. You know how most times you have a very either a very smooth or a very like a croon worthy type of hook. Well, this ain't that. It's very passionate. It's spirited, and I love the energy. But with the way dude singing the Know Your Worth hook is it's funny, but it's cold though too though. Like it's actually hard. So and again, another one of my favorite joints on here is a Know Your Worth along with Save My Life, Freedom of Speech intro. It's not the intro, it's just the opening track. Also a Real Life. Real Life is a dope record because not only does he again kind of stay into that freedom of speech realm, rap help me out, but this gets more into street life, prison, and how it's not the route to go, but without prison, how he also doesn't think he'd be alive today. And that's always very telling when you hear people who have done stints of time, 5, 10 years longer, and when they look back on who they were and what they did, and one of the first thing that comes to their mind is like, "Yo, I'm blessed to be here. This this prison stint was actually, a blessing in disguise." And I never want that kind of harsh reality for myself. I never want that or for the people around me. But man, it's got to be pretty, I guess, redemptive, or it's got to be humbling for sure when you think about prison, like real prison, not the TV prison, not backyardigans, but like prison, and you think that that is what saved your life because that ain't the safest place to be. So how reckless and wild were you in the streets for prison to save you? I always think about that when people when artists speak from that perspective, or just anybody when they speak from that perspective. I'm like, wow, how wild in the streets were you if that was the safe haven? Prison was the safe haven. I don't want to live that fast. I'll tell you that. And you know what? Hey, and in rare news from this side of the map, first questions. First question with Birdman. Fire track. Fire track. I can't run on it. I can't run on it. Birdman even sound halfway decent. He called himself the red print on this. Uh, hey, what can you do? What can you do? Um, but man, no, it's not a bad track at all. Then a couple joints for the ladies on here. You got the joint with Boosie, the Go Live. Boosie, Boosie and BG. I like the combination. I would actually want to hear them do some more songs. And it was cool that they're doing some related, some to pop they thing too. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. But also, but all night. Listen, I've always got a kick out of thugs rapping for the ladies, like because it's always like nasty, but and it's nasty and heartfelt at the same time. You know what I mean? And and all night is definitely that. But hey, look, you know what I'm saying? He fresh out. He trying to get some for ladies, get to keep the ladies, you know what I'm saying, into the movement as he restarts and kicks back up. So, salute. Fiend is on this album. E40 is on this album. I also like that. I also like that. And I think this is very important for artists to know and to kind of like format as well. BG, all of his collaborations. Well, I'm sorry, not most, because Fredo Bang is on here too, and Reese Youngin. But like the majority of these features are the people from his era, the people that are still active from his era, the people that he, obviously admires, has good relationships. One thing that I do always appreciate, and I think this is where ageism and rap music gets misconstrued. I don't think anybody truly has a problem with older artists. I don't really think that. I don't think artists that are 35, 40 and up, I don't think them rapping is the problem. I don't think them singing is the problem. I think when you are an elder statesman in your craft or elder statesperson in your craft and you are still targeting 16 to 21-year-olds, I think that's the problem. There's and because I would have hated this album if BG got on here and all of the songs were featuring NLE Choppa and NBA Youngboy and Kodak Black and Fabio Foreign and just and there's no disrespect to them, but it's like don't chase their audience. Don't chase that sound. Like I don't want to hear him in A Boogie because respectfully, when A Boogie was starting it popping, he probably this is before his time. BG's before his time. And not that he can't be aware of them and that they shouldn't collab. I'm just glad that on the first solo album, the re-debut for this era, for the people to understand who BG is and who he was before he went in, I think it's very important that this album sound the way it does because it's a really good sounding album. And I love that he didn't chase the YNs. I love that. I love that he didn't chase the YNs, that he stuck to his guns. He does what he does, his flow, his pocket, his cadence, his beat selections. I loved all of it. I love all of that. The aesthetics of the album are really dope. Because everything don't need a deep dive, let's just get right to the rating. I give this rating out a lot, but I'm serious when I give it out because it's worth it. 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. Very solid work. I am curious about how BG wants to sound. If freedom of speech is in full effect, I do want to know what his plans are musically as he ventures into this new just realm of how he has to create and for how long, because I don't know how long. But I do like this album. I think whether you grew up with BG or not, it's worth a listen. Hey, if you are just a guy or a gal that listens to street music and you like street music and you want to hear the streets or you want to hear the South Streets, whatever it is, I think this album is for you. I think this will do it justice. I have nothing bad to say about the album. I'm impressed with BG. And I think the most telling thing for me is that how he has not lost a step because he didn't need to lose a step because what he originally came in the game with, his own style, his own originality, it still works. I think that's just an even bigger message and testament for the new artists of today. There's so many of them, same flow, same auto-tune level, same beat selection, same 808s. They're using the same drums, they're using the same ad libs. A lot of artists are not creating, they're mimicking, they're copying. So a BG Freedom of Speech album is needed just to cut through the copycats. And if we collectively we listen to this album, we support this album, and we make it successful, it gives them another reason to switch it up, diversify, do something else, or hey, quit because you're not original, you know? So that's it for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you need a deep dive, a lyrical breakdown. Again, I'm happy that BG is out and that he's recording and that he's in a space where the music can come out and he won't be incriminated. I think this is a very important album based on the stipulations because who knows how his situation is going to affect the next rapper. I know Tory Lanez just put out an album while in prison. And I know the things around his case maybe not be as severe as it was for BG, but you know, a Dirk trial is coming up, a Diddy trial is coming up, and I think, well, I pray that's it. You know, I pray that's it. But so many other artists that they may have that clause in their parole hearing about, hey, if you're going to create music, well, we need to hear it before it comes out. We need to go through your lyrics and see what's in this. So yeah, that would take the fun out of hip hop. That would take the fun out of rap music and the cinematic, storytelling. But at the same time, maybe just maybe, man, maybe just maybe, we should be in a position where the rappers don't have to be as real as advertised. Because at the end of the day, man, we here for the music. A lot of the people listening to it ain't never did none of the stuff that they even rapping about. So hopefully we find some balance and we find a way to get high quality music while keeping all of our artists and entertainers out on the streets free, alive, healthy, well paid. And we have wisdom and discernment to be entertained and know the difference. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Whenever you decide to tune into this, again, BG, Freedom of Speech, 15 tracks and 49 minutes, 43 seconds. Features by Birdman, Boosie, Juvie, Derez Deshawn, E40, Reese Youngin, Fredo Bang, Finesse 2 Times is on here, Fiend is on here, and it's 3 out of 5 for me. Freedom of Speech, please go listen to it, support it. Yeah, man, long live rap music, man. God bless hip hop. That's it. That's it for me. Hey, listen, y'all have an incredible evening. Please be safe no matter what you do this weekend. I'm teasing the topic. Because I think I know the most impactful rap album, the most impactful debut rap album of all time. I think I know what it is. I'm prepared to argue for one over the others. So we'll talk. We'll talk soon. But until then, man, again, please be safe and always know that consensually it's love.